want your attention. Thanks for joining me. My name's Derek, and I want to go through a little bit of my experience the past few months where I've been selling cards on TCG Player, whatnot, eBay, and I guess a few other places. But those are the main ones we're going to look at. And I've recently been going through and giving myself just a little bit of perspective of how far I've come and how hard it is to build this over the long term, and also a lot of lessons that I've learned, studied a lot of other videos, and practiced a lot of different things along the way. And what happened over this 4th of July weekend has been pretty cool. I was on the cusp of level 4, and I got level 4 right before 4th of July. And then it was like, all right, well, maybe I can. And mind you, this has been roughly 90 days. My first sale was on April 15th, and I'll get into more of these dates. But coming up on the 3-month mark next week, 2 weeks, however long it is from now. Today's the 6th. Happy 4th of July weekend. We are at the end of the 4th of July weekend. But this was cool because I was almost not even level 4. And then I was level 4. And I was like, wait a minute. Maybe I can just get to Gold Star Seller in the 90 days. So I kind of shifted my targets. And I more or less achieved that all within this weekend. So we'll get more into that. But I am over 100 sales. And I think we'll have to see if the listing actually shows the Gold Star. We'll have to check tomorrow. But it's actually happened kind of fast. And that's also why I think my perspective on how I got here is interesting and might be useful, because there's a lot of different ways to go about doing this, reaching level 4. And at the end of the day, most people will want to sell their cards and hopefully make a little bit of money. Or if they're not in the business of buying and selling, they want to get a good bit of value out of it and ideally build towards getting more for your cards over the long run. And it's harder at the beginning, no matter how you slice it. You have 0 sales, you have 0 credibility. The only thing you can compete on is price. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to compete on price. So we'll go through my dates a little bit. I listed my first item on TCG Player on April 10th. And there was a week or so where I was working through getting stuff set up. And even to go to proceed that, because whatnot has been an even larger portion of how much I've accrued, how the revenues over selling cards and some other things, but mostly Pokemon cards over the past. It's been almost 4 months since whatnot, almost exactly. So my first show on whatnot was on March 8th, and it's interesting because my first show was selling. It was a box break of baseball cards that I'd had since however long, and I guess we'll just tell that story real quick. The reason that I got on Whatnot and even found it, I had heard of the app, but I'd never shopped, never, thought about it like that. Had it on my phone and never even opened it for a while, until I had a leak in my apartment where I am right now, and it leaked into some of my long-term held baseball, football, hockey, basketball sports cards, like 80s and 90s sports cards. Some really broad, big sets in like a 5,000 cardboard one of the storage boxes. So the water leaked onto those. I ended up having to do an insurance claim. And then I was like, well, now I have all these cards and some of them or whatever. And it just kind of gave me the thought of going on Whatnot or figuring out how to sell those, And then you find out Whatnot is one of those options. You start watching a couple of sports shows. And then building towards wanting to do like individual cards that I had, I did a box break of a box that I bought probably in 2021 is my guess. 2020 or 2021. With no other, maybe I thought it would go up. I don't know really what I thought at the time. I just wanted a box and kept it sealed, like I did a lot of other Pokemon products I bought back then. I bought a lot of Sword and Shield during that period just because I wanted it. I didn't really know where the market was or wasn't paying attention, but it was part of my Rocket Replay business and where I building towards what the future could entail with all of those things combined with Rocket Replay pinball, which bump the mic and tip yourself. Pinball has been what Rocket Replay is and what my business has been since really 2021. And we'll talk more about pinball, but we're going to talk about cards today. So I did my first show on Whatnot on March 8th to sell a baseball box. And we sold them all. We sold the box. Every pack went for $1. And I think it was 30 packs. And it was awesome. It was actually really fun. Off the cuff, down a random table in the living room. Pardon. And then, then you start realizing that there's other stuff on Whatnot besides sports cards. And my partner got me to start looking at, Pokemon cards are on there. hook, line, and sinkered. You watch a show or two of that, all of a sudden I'm doing a Pokemon show, and I literally have not looked back. And I don't know how many shows I've done. That might be on one of these screens, but first one was on March 8th, and then my first sale on TCG. So it took about a month for me to list a card on TCG after I'd been on Whatnot. March 8th, Whatnot. April 10th, I listed my first card on TCG Player, and then on April 15th, I had my first sale. So I did not take the strategy of pricing every card as low as possible, and I put a lot of sealed products on there. I actually met my level 1 cap inadvertently too low because I had sealed products on there that were worth more. So I had relatively less products. I could have done this a lot quicker, but I was I was trying to do more Whatnot at the time, and it was really popping on there. My results have varied, but in terms of watching other people and seeing what people are paying and what type of how many consumers are there, that type of thing, it did definitely cool down into the summer. So I was still more eggs in that basket. Which, as it's gotten warmer and Whatnot has cooled off a little bit, I have streamed a little less, and I've built out the TCG and eBay a little more, and it's paid off, honestly. Whatnot is still the leader, though, so we'll look at that more. And then I don't know what I think I listed about the same time on eBay as I did on TCG Player, but I think I listed a Dragonite tin, and I am hopefully at whatever point I listed a Peruvian sticker box, like a non TCG Pokemon stickers from their Peruvian. Those things sell. So my first sale on eBay was May 5th. And then I have in my notes 90 days to 30 plus listings, which I have over 50 now, and that target was July 4th. So the 90-day mark being, my notes are all over the place. This is great. But I reached 51 sales on 6/22. So it took me 10 weeks to reach level 4 sales, and it was a little longer after that for me to actually get level 4. I got it on 7/1. So 2 weeks short of 3 full months to get to level 4. And then all that's happened since I got 50 is I've sold another 50. And the only change, I did make a change to my shipping. I made the small shipping, instead of 99 cents, 0. And I've gotten a lot of sales as a result of that, and still more of the ones where it's under $5 and they pay the $1.30 for shipping, which is pretty awesome. It makes sense. That's how it should be, because otherwise there's literally no way to make money. And there is a way to perceivably make money by listing at 6 cents a card, but you're not actually making money on the card at that point. You're literally just trying to make money on shipping. So I do have a minimum price. All right, well, let's just go to the other screen. So this is my TCG Player. I have in here since 4/15 because that's when my first sale was. So my gross sales are 2,929 for 110 orders. And I told you I got 51 on 6/22. So it's been not even a full month for me to more than double. I do have a range of sealed products, cards, low range cards, a good bit of bulk. I don't know if this shows the inventory on the screen. Currently I have 2,163. You can see I just barely even got to 54 feedback. I think I had 2 refunds. One was someone bought a Paldean and Fates. I think they bought the ETB and then immediately canceled it, which is fine. They immediately reached out. I had no problem. And then maybe one of them was one that got lost in shipping, and I refunded the buyer, and TCG Player compensated me anyway. And then there was one other one where I listed it as LP. The buyer reached out and told me what they saw, and I even told them what I knew what they saw, and said I probably should have listed that at MP, and I just refunded them. And then in that response, refunded, they came back and said, honestly, that was better than what I could have asked for, so that was good. And they ended up giving me feedback. Oh, it doesn't show their names. Show their usernames. There was that order. So, good feedback. You gotta take care of your people. Ship well. Package well. Do your research. I'm not going to go into the full details of shipping in this video, but I will in another one. Anywho's. So yeah, just under 3,000 gross sales. And a lot of this has been recent, but a lot of my orders recently are of lower value. I think I was averaging about $10 an order early on, and it was much slower. It took a long time to build up that momentum, and now a lot of my orders are under $5. All right, whatnot. Kind of interesting graph. It was a lot more volume of shows in the beginning, and then a couple of really good shows, volume wise, and then I. It doesn't really completely look like it, but I have taken a bit of a break here, and still a couple of good shows. And now when I do shows, they're a little more consistent. So just under 7,000, $6,803.45 over, let's see, 120 days, 4 months. And the last month was, I guess it was about the same, a little lower. Yeah, June I didn't do as whole lot. So that's still kind of only over the 90 days. The number's gone up and I have had sales, but vast majority of that was over 90 days. So we can see, and I also wanted to show, shameless pumping of myself, we have 554 sold compared to 110, even with in some good reviews to boot, even with not doing it much in the last month. So there's a little scope of my profile and how I have it set up and what people say about me. So Whatnot does have bad people on it. There are also good people on it, and you can also buy really good cards at really good prices on it. I like to think, I hope, I believe I'm one of those good people on Whatnot. If my reviews change, then they would change. I have orders that are pending reviews. But you can come and join me and see what I do and how I do it and expect, hopefully, the same thing as these people have come to expect. That's my goal. So, this is my website. This is not my website. This is my Facebook. So, Rocket Replay is my overarching business, or DBA. And it was built under a bigger premise that turned into mostly pinball over the past 3 years leading up to 2025. I did do machine rentals and a few other things. I restored a Star Wars and one Best Restored DMD at Pinball Expo. The force be with you. And I recently started, this is public on my Facebook, so sorry if I'm showing people's names. This is my ugly ad that I made recently, and I've recently finally started posting them here again. And you can even see that I had been going through some stuff and had to put this all on pause. And now I've integrated more things in. I've been doing only pinball, but I like a lot more things. And I inadvertently, by virtue of needing to, started selling cards, and then it turned into selling cards on multiple platforms. So this is the website. Still a work in progress. This used to be at the top. I moved it down because I do offer a lot more things now. If you're coming here for pinball, you'll find it. If you're coming here to shop, it's one of the main things that you're going to the website for. If you want to contact me to get pinball service, you typically, are coming here for that and would look for it. So there's a place where you can schedule me, a bit of my story, some t-shirts, handmade. We make those. I didn't make this hat. I like to make this hat, and I'm not wearing one of the shirts. This is a banana ball shirt. But alas, we do have some handmade merch. Japanese. Some pictures we need to fix the size. Some accessories. A little story about Demise. And then more stuff. How to reach out to me. There's the website. So I did do one Facebook ad along with those Facebook posts. And we saw a lot of traffic go up. But this is over the last 90 days. Still haven't sold anything on the website. I made a couple of posts. Maybe you've seen it if you've seen this. If not, go click on my other videos. You can see that I've posted trying to promote this and showing that it's me. You can hold me accountable. And I would like to hold myself accountable as I continue to and will continue to, as the people on Whatnot have, and the ones on TCG Player and on eBay, which I don't have screens up for that. I think I have 15 sales total and like $950. It's been a slow grind. It takes a little more work to do individual cards on eBay, but once you get the listing set up, it can be a lot quicker. You have to figure out shipping and how to do it on all of these, and it's a little bit different, but a lot of things are the same. And I handwrite a note, I draw a picture, I do all sorts of stuff for every single order. on every single platform. And I'd like to make sure that my cards are going to get there. Your cards are going to get there safely. So there's a lot that goes into it, and it's hard to build all these channels at once. But there are benefits to the website, and hopefully we'll get some more traffic on this. And yeah, that's my spiel of spieling. And yeah, it's just a little bit of perspective. $3,000 on TCG Player, 7,000 on Whatnot, and 1,000 on eBay. And it's been 120 days since I started on Whatnot. So over 4 months, that's $11,000 total, give or take. Net is lower than that. That is gross revenues. We can go into more of those numbers. I usually like to use 75%, so we can just say I made like $8,000 or so. You have to take your costs into account, obviously, the cost of the cards, but in terms of having revenue, we're building something and it's working. And I think I compare this with what the existing pinball infrastructure was, and have another. It's almost like my pinball business was my day job and the cards was my second job when people do it on the side. So it's turned into something. I think making these videos hopefully will turn into something. I think I have a different perspective. I think I might be able to tell a story. I might be able to be relatable in a way that's different than everyone else. And I will fly off the cuff a little bit. I'm not going to edit this at all. I'm going to finish recording this and post it. Deal? Deal. Well, this has been interesting. I don't know how long this video is. We'll see. This will be my longest one. We'll see if you watch and stick around. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate anyone that watches this, and I hope one person benefits even a little bit. So one view is great. You're awesome. Well, thank you for allowing me to talk about this a little bit, and thank you for hopefully subscribing and following and liking so I can get more information out and let me know what you want to see in a shipping video that might be different than others. I've been working on that, my path on level 1 to level 4, how to do it what I call the right way, which is I think the way I've done it is the right way. I've seen my numbers start to just very extrapolatingly exponentially go up, and that's been really cool. So with that, there's your attention back. Peace.